Obviously, it is Ohio State against Penn State on Saturday. We are excited to watch that matchup. I still think we have a really, really fun and interesting game ahead between the Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions. However, it is important that we do not forget it can be Ryan Day against Jim Knowles in this matchup between these two guys that worked together. I mean, less than a year ago, these two technically were working together trying to bring Ohio State to a national title and did so. The drama begins, and the drama carries into Saturday for the Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions. Yes, I wanted the 1-5 matchup too, but we're going to have to settle for where we are with these two teams and the little bit of drama between the two. I don't think it's an overly great amount of drama, but it's an interesting storyline between Ryan Day and Jim Knowles. Before we jump into all of it, help us out real quick. We are so close to 17,000 subscribers. If you are not subbed, find out what the other 16+ thousand have found out already and subscribed already. I want to do this by Saturday. That's my goal. Get to 17K before the watch party on Saturday, which we'd love to have you be a part of. So make sure you hit that sub button right now. All right, before we get into the Ryan Day, Jim Knowles, Matt Patricia, and a little bit about Caleb Downs later in the show, just a reminder, okay? Jim Knowles has a very complicated legacy, I think, for me and for fans. We talked Jim Knowles a while back after the, I believe it was the UCLA loss for Penn State, that back-to-back. We talked Jim Knowles, and fact was, it was a lot of love for him. I was surprised by the amount of comments. People appreciate the national title. They liked what he did over the past couple of years, and they seem to like Jim Knowles, overall. But, the rumors flying about him leaving, the rumors flying about Ryan Day needing to step in and get involved with the defense. The notes I always bring to the table, when Ryan Day hired him, he was a hot commodity. That was a hot name at defensive coordinator. Penn State wanted him the first time. That's how they ended up getting him the second time. You did win a national title with Jim Knowles, right? Problem is, you see now what Matt Patricia is doing and that little bit of extra with the personality. There's obviously some iciness, I really believe, between Ryan Day and Jim Knowles. I think you could see it then, and you can definitely see it now. And again, it was a bad look at times for the Buckeyes to get blown out in these gigantic games time and time again. And again, here's January 2025. He called James Franklin, right, to get that job. He wanted to be at Penn State. He wanted to be a part of it. So that timeline matters, and it was quick, right? It was right after, really went from middle of the playoffs to just after winning the national title, and all of a sudden Jim Knowles is gone. No surprise, Ryan Day was asked about it. Not only, the idea of playing Jim Knowles, their relationship as of right now, and also interesting to me, he was asked about the fact that Knowles left, not only left in general, but for a Big Ten rival. We'll get to that part in just a second, but Day on his relationship currently with Jim Knowles. I thought this was an interesting quote. Like any relationship, when it breaks off, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I thought that was interesting. Is it? Is that what it has to be? Sometimes good, sometimes bad? Is there no middle ground? I don't know. But really, there hasn't been much communication. And again, I'm not going to be surprised there. He did a great job when he was here, helped us win a national championship, and kind of left it at that. Then it was, hey, we got to go make a replacement, move on from there. So yeah, that's kind of how it was. It was abrupt. I think that was an interesting note. It definitely was abrupt, but we certainly respect the work he did when he was here. I think a lot of fans do. Now, he follow-up was asked about Knowles joining a rival, right? A Big Ten rival in Penn State. I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's just about how college football and how it's changed. The money and everything like that. You're seeing some things that maybe you're not used to, but I guess you look at the NFL, you see more of that than you would in college, and the finisher here for Day that I thought was really, really interesting. But I guess we're getting more like the NFL. We try not to take those things personal, but we are human, aren't we all? We certainly are human. I thought that was a really interesting way to end it. More thoughts on that in just a second. Do want to let you guys know this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. I try to note to people Prize Picks' best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? who's overhyped. You can make those picks in less than 60 seconds, turn your takes into cash all season long. Try this bad boy on for size. Had to get Carnell Tate in this lineup here. We went more on 68.5 receiving yards. Ethan Grunkenmeyer, that is his longest completion. We went less. He had his longest was 14 against Iowa. I doubt the Buckeye defense is going to let him have much more. And then Julian saying it is Heisman season, so we're going more on the touchdown pass and a half. On Prize Picks, it is how you play is up to you. So if you want to go flexibility and choose flex play where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses, that's cool. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play. No matter how you play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. I love that. I love that. You think you're right? Go for it. Test it. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So, the comments made by Ryan Day. Look, I don't think he wrote a big novel about Jim Knowles, about their relationship, about what happened, but I don't think he took the easiest possible road to just get done with those questions, throw the sign of respect, and move on, right? Ryan Day's an extremely calculated speaker. When he is at the podium, when he speaks into a microphone, it matters, and he has usually thought it out to a T, if not taken that second to breathe, right? So I guess we're all human, or we're all human in certain ways. There's either good or bad endings. I think comments like that, I think he thought about it at points beforehand, and I think it mattered that he said it in general. Now, I think, overall, there is a reason that the Knowles, Day, Penn State, Ohio State, defense, money, national title, back and forth, the real housewives of Columbus, I think there's a reason that it's actually, at this point in time, not that big a deal, which we will get to in just a second. But right now, where it stands, and again, you guys were all over the place last time we talked about this, your one-word reaction when you hear Jim Knowles. I talked confusing legacy, where he stands with fans. Pick one word when you hear Jim Knowles and leave it in the comments section down below. Matt Patricia. He's the reason it's all good. It's all smooth, right? I thought about the question being asked to Ryan Day earlier, and I kind of thought about and when anyone, your mom, your friends, whoever, asks about next girlfriend. Oh, do you still talk to so-and-so? No, I don't. I really don't still talk to my ex-girlfriend from 5 years ago. It's a dumb question. However, everything's good because you have a new great girlfriend. Matt Patricia's killing it for the Buckeyes. Makes it a lot easier not to worry about what went down with Jim Knowles. I would actually say I didn't think about Jim Knowles till Penn State took that loss to UCLA. You know, we did the dodged a bullet video. I know a lot of you guys had your opinions on that. You didn't really like dogging on Jim Knowles. I understand. He did get you a national title, right? You did play really, really well. You were the number one defense under Jim Knowles. But what's happened with Matt Patricia has made it so much easier to deal with what happened, right? That was a late leave and a late hire, and it worked out okay. Kind of crazy. The Buckeyes in 2025, number one, and I had to add it in there. It's not really a number one or a stat necessarily. Undefeated, baby. Untouched to start the season. Number one in points allowed. They're only allowing 5.9. 5.9 is the average. Number one in yards allowed per game, and teams just cannot get it done on third down right now against the Buckeyes. Matt Patricia has made this whole thing smooth, easy, and easier to swallow overall. I mean, again, Knowles left late in the process without warning. I don't want to say without warning. He wanted a contract extension, right? So he was talking about being back at Ohio State. Next thing you know, he's gone. Most coordinators have moved on. Thankfully, the Buckeyes, everything has worked out with Matt Patricia. Because it has worked out, because of what Matt Patricia has done, show a little love. Hit that thumbs up button to let Matt Patricia know you see what he's done for this program. Every like that you see in that number on the stats for YouTube, you hit that thumbs up, it goes up to 400, 500. That's some love for Matt Patricia right there, so be sure you do that. All right, we are going to show some love also to Caleb Downs. I want to again emphasize, Caleb Downs was probably for the first 2 years, honestly, when he got here. He was a hired gun. right? He was a hired gun. His ascension to what he is now, a Buckeyes captain and a leader for this defense, is awesome. Awesome to see that he was named one of 15 semifinalists for the Jim Thorpe Award. That is for the best defensive back in college football. Now, when we look at Caleb Downs' stats, solid, good. I don't think stats are what's going to possibly win him an award. Just being the heart of a really good defense. The main piece, chess piece of a really great defense. That's what's going to win him this award. Other teams talking about him, coordinators talking about him. I think that's what has Caleb Downs here. And again, not just a transfer from Alabama, right? He no longer is that. He's an Ohio State captain. Absolutely deserves to be. Absolutely plays like it. And looking at the Thorpe Award history with Ohio State, remember these guys? Antoine Winfield, the 1998 winner. So yeah, he's competing with corners, too, to win this award. And then Malcolm Jenkins, a great Buckeye, winning it in 2008. And the other quality names that have been in the mix lately, Lathan Ransom and Denzel Burke, were finalists for this award. So as we conclude today's video, appreciate you guys watching to the end. Shout out Caleb Downs, truly a captain for a very good Ohio State defense.